Damn. Well, listen, I, I want to use our live time this time to talk about what I think is most important right now, which is Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely.
So I guess I'll just start off because, well, hold on, let me redo and reshare, make sure everybody's going to be a part of this because we have something to say. I hope we all do.
Yo, Trey.
Oh, come on.
Oh yeah, I know you
I
do.
ain't said nothing all week.
Yes. Sorry, yeah.
What's up, Facebook and YouTube?
What's good, y'all? What's up?
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whoever you are checking in with Let's Be Real at this time, because it's time for us to be real. And we're not going to talk about sports right now. We need to talk about Black lives in America. So for those that have been living under some type of rock or don't even follow the news because you're such an idiot, Breonna Taylor doesn't have the justice that she needs yet. And the thought that, to me, I think we're okay with it. And the reason why I say that, before everyone jumps down my throat and we start getting these comments, the reason why I say I think we're okay with it is because what have we done since that verdict happened? We didn't stop playing basketball. We didn't do anything different in regards to how we, treat people, right? Everything's been fine since then. We've literally just kind of like, oh yeah, it's supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. And this has been one of the saddest weeks for me as a Black man in the time of us kind of resetting ourselves up for greatness. And of course, I'll get to some other things that as well. But in regards to Breonna Taylor's, they settled for $12 million out of the court case, but then no cop was convicted. Yet, for those that don't know, a white woman in Minneapolis was slain, and they gave her $20 million and still got convicted the officers. So when we talk about Black Lives Matter, we cannot say only Black men lives matter, because that's what it's seeming to be.
Mm-hmm.
We have to protect our queens. And that is one thing I've stressed a lot to us, but we've also shown our colors in this. And then what I want to say is, like, for instance, again, we stopped game one or game two of Milwaukee beating down the Magic, right? We stopped. We should have done the same thing when this thing came out about Breonna Taylor. Everyone's jersey says, say her name, or these basketball shoes, I have Breonna Taylor's name on my shoes. Everything, the second highest rated name behind George was Breonna Taylor. And Breonna Taylor justice was not done. But yet and still, we keep going on as if it is. So just want to pick you guys' brains about that, because I think this is our platform to use to talk about these injustices. I'll start. I'll go Shark, then Took, because I know we got some more to talk about too. Trevor, then Sav. You all can remember that, or just tell me your thoughts about being just a Black person in America over this past week.
Okay, so of course, don't like it. I probably didn't feel as strongly as when it happened, because I think the day before they came out and the media came out, said they were getting police and everybody force ready to prepare for the the outcome. So at that day, I already knew, like, okay, ain't nothing about to happen, and it's same old story. So really, and to go back on your point, you're right. It feels like Black men lives matter more than women. Even piggybacking, I'll go to Tory Lanez dropping their whole album, dissing Meg Thee Stallion after you supposedly shot her. Out the day after a Black woman didn't get justice. So it's like, once again, what I mean, we just got to do better as a society, as Black people. Now, piggyback to your point with the sports thing, I actually disagree with them not playing, only because when they stopped playing before, I thought they should have never came back. And at this point in time, you can't stop playing every time something happens, unless you actually going to stop playing for good. Stop playing for a couple of days and come back. I'm tired of that. So them keep playing, I was fine with it. Cause I'm like, you stop playing. Literally, if you're gonna stop playing, please stop playing. Don't stop playing 2 days. All right, we're gonna come back again. Like, that's not, to me, that's not doing anything. It didn't do anything last time. I saw a vote. I saw someone on Twitter. Someone said most NBA owners are voting Republican or something like that. So I mean, if you're gonna stop playing, please don't stop playing for good. That's how I really go from that. So I really have a problem continuing playing. I do like that they're still voicing their opinions. Jaden Brown. I don't think Jaden Brown in any of his press conferences has said anything about the game that he just played. He's always speaking injustice. I think the women's players are doing the same thing. They had a statement ready. I think Cheaty, I think you said something about the men. Why should they had a statement? I agree with that point. They should have had a statement ready to announce. So the women are doing, like I said, the women, WNBA has done great with everything, with all the justice things. So like I said, it's another hurtful time for the country. I didn't really see much coming out of Louisville. Like we're rioting and stuff. Did really much happen?
There was a lot of protests, but it was not much of.
Where were the officers shot at? Because I heard about 2 officers getting shot.
Yeah, I didn't. Oh,
I don't know if it was Louisville or somewhere else. I wasn't sure.
I think it was Louisville.
Okay, yeah. So
I think it was 11-year-old. I saw another post. It was 11-year-old. It was 11-year-old white boy who got shot like 10 times.
The autistic boy shot.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, so like I said, it's a sad time for everything in this country. I'm not finna give nobody any excuses. I just don't know. I think everybody's just kind of stuck. If I would say that, we're just kind of like, what is there to do next? And we just still trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
So with me as a black man in America, me personally, I've grown numb to seeing people that look like me being killed by the police. You know what I'm saying? I've grown numb to it to the point where I'm able to say certain things and feel a certain way about things. Whether it's right or wrong, that's, you know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel. So it's right to me. Y'all know how I've been feeling about the bubble since it started. Y'all know I don't feel like the bubble shouldn't have been played at all, but things happen. But throughout that bubble, the killings of black men and women are still going to happen. Why? Because the bubble is taking place in America. It's taking place in America. It's not going to stop. It hadn't stopped since the bubble started. It's happened way before it started, and it's going to continue to keep going until the bubble ends. That pause and play. We're gonna call it that because that's what it was. Yeah. That pause and play. Y'all argued with me that was one of the strongest points to do that. And I said at the beginning, the leverage for the NBA players to have was at the beginning of the bubble, because if you don't play, we don't get to see who's in a conference finals. We're not gonna get to see who maybe can be in the NBA finals. So all this marketing shit, you hit it right on the point. All this marketing that the NBA has done for Black Lives Matter, for Breonna Taylor, for the WNBA, whose main marketing goal is to get justice for Breonna Taylor, there is no justice. So my question is, which is my title, what now? What are y'all gonna do now? Are we gonna have an NBA finals? Is LeBron James gonna play, who's been an advocate? But that's all they've been doing is being advocates and talking. They said they had a meeting with their owners to make sure stuff get done. Obviously, I'm not even gonna cuss. I'm gonna keep it PG-13. I almost did. Nothing got done. And granted, there is no NBA team in Kentucky. I get that. But when you look at the players that's not in the league right now who still could use those voices outside of that bubble, nothing is being done but protests and march. So again, I say, what now? And we saw what happened with Louisville with the cop getting killed. I got a whole, 2 cents about that one, but I'm gonna keep it, like I said, PG-13.
Thank you.
This past, with the day of the Breonna Taylor decision, was 65 years to the day that Emmett Till's murderers were acquitted. So honestly, just hearing the decision, like I was off work that day. I was at an appointment or whatever. Once I found the decision, I literally just went and just laid in my bed because it was just so numb and I couldn't even move. And to your all's point about the NBA, I was 100% with Sharky. It's like, if you're gonna stop playing for good. Like, you guys not playing and continuing this playoffs with just not continuing the playoffs would have just gave you the utmost leverage to actually get something done. And even with them not going back to the bubble, that would have been the strongest. But even now, even at the time that they stopped in the first round, like they still had the leverage at that point in time. But that pause and play was really just nothing. We haven't heard anything from the NBA owners on what's going to be done to move everything forward. Like I said, my heart goes out to Breonna Taylor's family because again. Yeah, they had a settlement, which was out the civil suit, but of course, it wasn't the criminal suit. And I just afterwards, man, I just got up and hugged my wife because as much as we claim that we do, we really don't value Black women as we should, especially as Black men. But yet we expect Black women to be out on the forefront, leading these kind of crusades that we're trying to lead. So. I really just don't have anything to say. I throw the biggest middle finger to Daniel Cameron, who I already knew was a coon to begin with. So at this point, the only way I could see the NBA or anybody doing anything at this point is if we just boycott the finals. Like it's going to be on a major network, ABC, during that time. Like if you just choose not to play the finals at this point, that would definitely send a message. But at this point, what's it going to take? At this point, what now? Like, what are we going to do? So.
Thank you.
I don't think that. So like what Took said, if you were going to, send a message, it would have been just to leave the bubble. Period. The moment that Milwaukee got off the court. I think we had a Let Me Be Real. Our first one, Let Me Be Real. I believe that Wednesday, and we all were in agreement of like, yeah, just shut the whole operation down, send a message to, the entire world. Because as much as people talk about, oh, this is why the NBA views are down, this is why NFL views are down. People watch the NBA. People make money off the NBA. You got Vegas with bets. You got people with fantasy teams. You got the owners selling merchandise. Like people make money off the NBA and the NFL and other sports leagues. So they're going to continue to watch. And so the biggest message would have been to just, step away from it and just until we get that justice. That is what true advocacy is. That is what, Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did back in the 60s and 70s. I think the times are a bit different now, and people are more worried about their brand and what the impact of like making the money. I think they're more worried about that than actual advocacy for justice, social justice. And so what I think what is next is we have to look at this situation, and I hate that it's like this, but that's just our reality right now. I think we have to look at the long play. So not necessarily the immediate returns that we could get, but more so like what can we do as Black men, as a Black community, to ensure that change does happen? And for me, that starts with your friend groups, your family, and how you raise people to understand and be aware of what is true justice and how do you make an impact, down the road. And so what we need to be doing is ensuring that that we are voting. And it sounds like, crazy to say like, voting don't matter. It does matter. It really does. And it starts from a local sense. What's going on with your local government, your mayor, things like that. I think too often we think about, big picture, the president. We don't think about, people that's working, in our city, in our states. And so we think about, I'm not going to vote until we get Trump out of there. Like, yeah, but look who's running your city, and look who's representing your state, at those meetings, nationally. So raising your family, and educating people, and then also being open to communicating with people. I think that's where it starts, and it sucks that it's like that. But I mean, if we're looking at progress, we have made progress as a community, as a country, over hundreds of years. But that doesn't stop. Shout out to my frat brothers. We still got a long way to go. So I think that I think that our responsibility, especially as Black men, is be present in the lives of our Black queens, be present in the lives of our children, be present in our community and other folks' communities. So we're not just sticking to our own community, but going to those white neighborhoods like, yeah, we here and we're smart, we're intelligent, we're educated, and we also want to have a conversation with you. And then from there, also not backing down from injustice. I think that's important for us to realize too. So it is going to be a long play. It's unfortunate what happened to Breonna Taylor. I hate that it happened. I was angry with the results and also not surprised. As Sharky says, it's like that's America for you. But I'm also encouraged in that that I am still breathing. I still have a pulse, and so that God is not done with me. He's not done with y'all. He's not done with everybody else. So we still have more rounds in this fight, and we just can't give up right now. We got to continue pressing forth and work towards progressing this country, this world, to make it a better place. But it's gonna take a long time. I hate that it's like that, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And before you go, Sheedy, I think Jacob Blake, is he still? I haven't heard anything about him dying. So is he
He's
still?
still alive. Like, he's recently made a video just talking about his whole experiences and everything. So last time I heard, he was still in the hospital.
Okay, I think the key was gonna be with him. Whenever if something comes of that situation, hopefully with that police in that situation, the key would be that, because he's the first person to live through the shootings. So he actually be able to defend himself, unlike everyone else.
Yeah. And I'll sew this up and then I'll pass it over to the rest of the show. One, when it comes to I want to say that part of Jacob, that's very unfortunate about him getting shot in the back. But like, to your point, at least he's surviving. My other point is that when you're talking about the Breonna Taylor situation, there's some things that are missing out, but I'm not going to dig deep into that story. Like the ambulance came and left. Why did the ambulance come and then leave if there's a dead body? But that's neither here nor there. That's a little conspiracy for me a little bit later on. Savage touched on something I want to touch upon real quickly, and then I want to give you some positive stuff. Voting matters. And of all the arenas so far, FedEx Forum is one of the only arenas that is not ready for voting yet. Not yet. Knowing that this city, Memphis, and I love Memphis, is about 60 to 7% Black. There's a lot of poverty, especially around in that area, that if they had the way just to get to the FedEx Forum, what's going on in the FedEx Forum that y'all can't clean it out? What y'all doing? Right? And so why that has not been, when there's 21 or 22 other teams and cities and states that have this already taken care of, but FedEx Forum is not ready to go. So that's a huge red flag. Go ahead, Took, and then I'll finish it up.
I just wanted to answer your question. The city would rather, instead of clean the FedEx for COVID, you know what I'm saying, and to implement those measures as far as 6 feet distance imposed and stuff like that, they'd rather give the money to the police force to have stun shields. But that's neither here or there.
I don't even think that was I don't even think that was our local government. Well, maybe so, but the Pentagon just spent $1 billion on jet engines and body armor, as opposed to the money that was supposed to go towards fighting COVID-19. So it's not really just more on the Memphis side of things. That's a national issue. So look at the real scammers instead of those that y'all like to demean every single day. So stay woke on that.
And especially the national, we should all spend $1 million on updating everybody's Wi-Fi. That's what they should have done, knowing we all virtual. But I do want to end. I don't want to be all negative. I want to end on something positive, right? And so I'm thinking about being Black in the past 30 days. And there's two great stories that are coming about that. One, and this is sports related, is Deion Sanders becoming a coach at JSU. That's huge for the HBCUs all across the country, because it's showing that we actually do care about HBCUs. We're bringing talent to HBCUs. And you look at Mississippi about to get a lot of money too. People are coming in out of nowhere to see Deion for no reason, right? And so really it's a win-win for that as well. So kudos to Deion Sanders, kudos to HBCUs, and really big ups to JSU as they begin. And they got a great band, by the way, too. So they're going to put this all together. And my other point that I want to make is in the past 30 days, the mecca of Black people, which I call Atlanta, has been approved to have the Grammys there, not the Grammys itself, but the Grammy Museum there, which I think is a huge step for us as Black America, Black culture, that they're recognizing this doesn't need to go in, I don't know, LA or North Dakota. This is really where the Black people are at that are bringing this music. So kudos to us for getting that.
Right, good points, bro.
Kudos indeed, man. Great job with this one, Sheedy, man. Like you said, man, we just continue to do like Savage taking up, we need to make those necessary steps in the Black community. And we just have to keep them pushing, man. It's important.
It's tough.
All right, man. Let's get this thing started. Let's be real. 104. Let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, before we start, man, first off, y'all know Skyler's not here. Condolences to him and his wife's family. Man, just please keep them in your prayers. Condolences also to U of M. They had a lot of layoffs yesterday in the athletic department. And, me and Tuke personally, we know when we had access to the Tiger games a couple years ago with Tammy. She was very good. Just hear that she got laid off really hit me like, man. So hopefully
nice lady. I hope she found somewhere real quick. She was a sweet lady. I like Tammy.
Right.
Shout out to Tammy.
And she was there. She was really good. I mean, keeping everything in order. But yeah, man. Shout out Savage. I know we forgot to give you a shout out. Just dropped your first 2 episodes of your podcast.
Yeah.
Go ahead, give you a little spiel, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the I Don't Know Sports podcast is basically me for about 20. I said 40, but 40 is probably too long. 20 to 30 minutes is right around where I would be. Dropping 1 or 2 episodes a week, just recapping what's going on in NFL, NBA, college sports, and whatever is going on in the world of sports. I've been pretty consistent this past week, so I'm happy about that. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at IDK Sports Pod. I'm definitely still team Let's Be Real. Y'all see me here now. I ain't going nowhere. It's just really it's an extension of Let's Be Real. If you want just to hear my voice and not my other brothers on the show. But again, that's IDK Sports Pod, dropping episodes probably on Mondays and Fridays. So you'll get it at the beginning of the week and you'll get it at the end of the week. So stay tuned.
Killing it, man. First 2 episodes are great. Like,
I gotta check out the second one, but I definitely love the first one.
And also, next week I will be a part of the Pods in Memphis event on International Podcast Day.
Represent.
Yep, check me out. And here we go. Yep, with Verbally Effective Podcast, the Fabulous Ina Esco, Mind Your Business Podcast with Ron Brooks of the Binge Podcast Network, and Start Off Life Podcast with Dominic Lawson, who is like a mentor to me. So I am elated to do this podcast with these wonderful people. And let's say check us out next Wednesday, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. Facebook Live. Follow us at Pods in Memphis on Facebook to get our links and everything to follow us. So get this thing started, man. First up, NBA. Tuke.
Yes, sir. We are currently in the, of course, conference finals for each team. We got the East. The Celtics actually beat the Heat last night. Pretty much a lot to a little. We can definitely start there first. Let's start with Heat Nation. Sharky, how your boys looking, man? What's going on with them? Let me go straight to Sheedy because I definitely want to get y'all opinion. Jason Tatum was Jason Tatum, and I see your name, Jimmy Needs Bucket. So.
Okay. I know we said something. I actually had Jimmy's weakest stuff because we said Jimmy's secret stuff last week. And I was ready. We was ready to get shirts printed. We still might get them. Shout out to Trevor for this. But he better get some buckets. We lost by 13. We had 7. I got in the shower. We up by 7 at halftime. I come out the shower. We're down by 7. in like 3 minutes. So I don't know what happened, what they do at halftime. They said, "Oh, we got this. We're gonna come out. We got them. We're going to the finals," and came out and got blasted. But I do see Jimmy Butler ended with 17 points. He had 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Jason Taylor had 31 and 7. Jason Taylor had 17 points in the third quarter. Jimmy Butler, if you're going to if you want to take the leap to superstardom, this is it. You can't blow this. And in order not to blow this, you're going to have to take more than 11 shots.
Yep.
I'm sorry. 17 points ain't going to do it. I understand getting your rest of your teammates involved. I've been saying this since the first round. Like, I got on John about this. We get on LeBron about this. LeBron do the same thing. He'll coast into the fourth quarter. Game 3, it was too late. Game 4, it worked out well for him. But Jimmy Butler, Boston more talented than y'all. Sorry. They are. The 3 games we won has been close. We haven't blew them out. It ain't like we just wiped them off the floor. Each game we've had to come back and win. So Boston could have very well swept us, if you want to be honest. But we've outplayed them at the end of games because we're a veteran team. But we got to be mindful. This same Boston team, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart were all on that team that went to the East Conference Finals 2 years ago against LeBron. They actually have experience, although they're still young. Although we're a veteran team, we haven't been this far. Jim Butler, this is the first time in East Conference Finals. Only people on our team that's been as far as Andre Iguodala and Udonis Haslem. Udonis Haslem doesn't play. He's basically a coach, although he's still technically a player. And Andre Iguodala,
coach,
right?
Player assistant coach. I know.
Literally. So I mean, I need that, and also not only Jimmy, Bam, 13 points yesterday. He also had 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Both him and Jimmy, I love that they're unselfish. I love they want to get teammates involved. It worked out in game 4. Tyler Hero had 37. Tyler Hero is 20. He's not going to do that every game. Sorry. Duncan Robinson had 20 points yesterday. That's not going to happen every game. The game before that, he only had like 2.
Yep.
Jimmy and Bam, y'all got to. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown had 31 and 28 apiece. Jimmy and Bam will have to do that to finish the series off. And they better do it in 6, or else I'm sending them to jail from Men's to Society. That's for game 7. Cheating.
Lord. So I said Heat in 6. So Heat in 6 means that we have to lose 2 games. And then we won the 6th game. That's considerably what I said. However, last night, was that last night? Yeah. Last night we looked like a team that was playing a regular season game, and the Celtics was like a team that was fighting for their lives. And they made the great adjustments. Kemba Walker made some great. Kemba Walker's clutch shot selection in crucial moments was important. There was a time where he scored like 5 straight points, and the 5 points doesn't really mean much, but we didn't score anything on offense with the Heat. So he was attacking the zone at different points of the zone where he got off a 3 with Tice, and then he also came right into the middle as well, where Tice stayed up top of the 3-point line and Kemba came into the free throw.
Come on, LeBron James.
But I would say the person that I was really impressed with last night, or people I was impressed with, definitely didn't come from Miami, were the bigs of the Celtics. Whether you're talking about Enes Kanter, who came in off the bench and literally first, I think 3 possessions he touched the ball, all buckets, or 4 straight buckets by him. He's 4 for 4, which is huge for them because the Robert guy ain't going to do that. But also, Tice had clutch times where either he got a foul committed on him, right, for getting a rebound, fighting for those offensive rebounds, or even setting those great screens in the zone. There's certain places that you need to screen in terms of the zone and knowing your players. And Tice studied what he needed to do and got what he needed. The most points I've seen him score, most rebounds I've seen him do, he played. Go ahead, Sharky, go ahead. And
speaking on Tice, I think after halftime, I think seeing Enes Kanter dominate what he did in the first half, Tice like, I need to get some minutes. It motivated him.
Or else he was going to ride the bench too. And so a point that I also made was we could get out coached in the second and third quarter. When I say we, Brad Stevens out coaches Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra does not need to go to a 5 small lineup. That's not what got us to the playoffs. That's not what got us to the bubble. That's not what got us to the East Conference Finals. We didn't do that when Giannis went down, right? Or when we played the Bucks, or when we played even the Pacers. We never did that. So now all of a sudden to do that is blasphemy, and it's beyond me right now. We weren't hitting our shots. The Duncan Robinson, the 20 points he got, most of that came in the first half. And so basketball, as we all know, is a game of runs. And if you think the Celtics weren't going to come back, we were sadly mistaken, because all these games that we've had to come back as the Heat, or the Celtics have came back. And with the explosion of the Celtics, they're always going to have the chance to come back because they have 4 scorers that they can put on the floor at any time. And so we have to be very careful and mindful of that. But I believe, to the point you are made, Sharky, we were outplayed by our bigs. The bigs outplayed us, and the superstars for each team. The superstars for the Celtics outplayed us. And I think you also throw Gordon in there as well. Gordon got 6 fouls. That 6th one was a reach, though. I don't know about that 6th foul.
Game over there.
Nonetheless, you don't put yourself in that type of situation as a point guard, right? And Gordon is very strategic for us because he scores at strategic times. When we're down 12 or 14, he's the one that's going to get us on that 4 to 6 point run to make Brad call the timeout. So looking at that aspect as well, we weren't ready to play and close out this game. We were ready to play a regular season game, hopefully at American Airlines Arena, win or lose, go home, and then we'll back up for another game. That's what I
think. Trev, you got something?
I think the guys of Heat Nation basically hit the nail on the head with everything. I was watching this game last night, and in the first half, I think the Heat went up by as much as, I want to say, 14. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm about to turn this game off because it looks like Miami is about to blow them off the floor and cruise to the finals. I turn it on again. I see not Boston. Still, Miami still has a pretty decent lead. I was like, okay, Boston made a run, but I think Miami's going to close it out. Then towards the end of the third quarter, I just saw Jason Tatum just take over, and then Boston takes the lead, and then they just didn't look back from there. I don't expect this to happen in Game 6. I do expect Miami to kind of be a little bit more alert at this point, because I think the idea of them possibly going this 3-1 lead is probably starting to cross their mind now. So I think, like Sharky said, Jimmy and Bam, they're going to have 20 apiece for them to close out this series, because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have no problem, and they can get 20 themselves easily. So just going forward, and I do think Miami closes them out in 6, because I did say Miami in 6. Jimmy and Bam are going to have to get aggressive and start looking to score.
7.
Y'all know I picked Boston in 7. So, I mean, for Boston to win, they literally have to win in 7. So looking at the box score, not even looking at the box score, but like there's a difference between shooters and scorers. Miami has a lot of shooters. Jimmy Butler is a scorer, but I need more than 17 from you. It's conference playoff time, dog. It's time you got to get 30. And I said it a couple of podcasts ago. When Jimmy gets 30, it hurts, because it's like 30 for him is like 40, like 50, like because he don't score that much points. But when he does score, it's like a jab haymaker, because it's like, man, Jimmy's scoring. That means I got Tyler Hero open, I got Duncan Robinson open, I got Bam open on a putback. And looking at Boston scorers, because they got scorers who can shoot. You got Tatum with 31 and Jaylen Brown with 28. To me, the difference is 2 players. One, Jaylen Brown. His play last night is the reason why I wanted the Grizzlies to be able to get him, because he can get his own shot. He can shoot from the corner. He can lock you up on defense. He can play in the middle of the zone as far as like on offense to break that zone a little bit more. He did that last game, towards the end of the last game, I believe. He's a versatile player that gives you, a lot in terms of versatility. And then Tatum in that third quarter, I don't know what was going on. But, I mean, he was getting it to everybody. He was not discriminating who can get this bucket. 17 points in the third quarter, like that really – that set the pace for the rest of the game, in my opinion. I was confident in Boston going into this series because of the talent. And like Tuke said before, heart does beat talent. But Boston's showing heart right now. Now, the big, like Sheedy said, the difference – I think Sheedy Oshwaki said this, but Game 6 is going to be important, because if Miami does not win this game, they are in trouble. I think they are in trouble for real. I still think Miami will have the wherewithal to come back and for Game 6 be ready to play because I believe in Coach Spoelstra. He's one of the best coaches in the league, in my opinion. They better win this game. I need more than I don't need Duncan Robinson and Dragic being my leading scorer. I need Jimmy to step up, like Sharky said. Is Jimmy gonna step up? I don't know, man. And that to me, like Sharky said before, like that's the difference between being a star player, an all-star, and then being a superstar. You have to step up when your team needs you most. So Jimmy has got to step up. So I'm gonna be watching him next game.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Sharky. Y'all hit it right on the head as far as this is the game that divides the stars from the superstars. When Jimmy Butler's back is biggest against the wall, he's somebody that's gonna step up, right? From what we were saying. Because we also got to think in that Philadelphia series last season against the Raptors, it took that Jesus shot for them to win.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler has never been to the East Conference Final. He's never been this far before.
Okay,
so I'm learning now. We'll see.
Yeah.
He normally does before. He's never been to this point. This is like I said, this difference between superstardom and just being an all-star. He's always done it, but he's never been to this far where a superstar takes over right now. So we'll see.
All right, so I'm a roll with the theory and the conspiracy that this may be Michael Jordan's son. Jimmy Butler's gonna close him out. Game 6.
Game 7.
No game 7. Besides, if you're going against Jesus and a robot in one man, but I'm gonna go. I did pick Heat Nation in Game 6, and what we're seeing from the Celtics are like you said, Savage. They're the most probably the most talented team in the East. But this is one of them times where you got two talented teams. It's about who wanted more. The Celtics definitely been showing it that they wanted this series, especially once Marcus Smart got in their ass about not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I think he kind of had to go into those big dogs too, because Bam from Game 1 to really now has literally been doing his thing in the paint. So of course, I think Brad Stevens and Coach Marcus Smart had to get into them and say this one man is killing y'all. Yeah. And I think
Bam. You saw that because like when Tice had 15 and 13, I'm like, I've never seen that in all series. I've never seen that.
That was in his council, bro.
I think they're gonna. I think Spo got some video liners, set up. That's his specialty, of course, and Bam and Jimmy are looking and seeing where they can go right. And I think they're gonna take over Game 6 and go ahead and pull it off because if there is a Game 7, that's gonna be a fun Game 7. I tell you that for sure.
They messed up.
Going to a team that's familiar with Game 7s, and I'm hoping they can squeeze another one out of the grace of God out. Head into this Western Conference Lakers battle. The Lakers play, I believe, tonight. Saturday. We're going on Saturday. Anthony Davis may or may not be playing. We're waiting official word from that at this moment. But for somebody that picked the Nuggets to beat the Lakers, I don't regret my take at all. I did have the Nuggets winning before the bubble, before anything started, so I'm going down with my pick. But when you look at everything that's happened in the series, like I joked about the Star 5 podcast. Like it took Anthony Davis to have a Goku Gohan defeating Cell moment for Kobe to come back and reappear. You know what I'm saying? Like the series could have easily been 2-2. You know what I'm saying? Despite some foul calls from last night, it still could have been the case. But I'm not gonna cry over spoiled milk. It is what it is. What I'm seeing in the series, great basketball, beautiful basketball. I'm seeing a Larry Bird that I didn't get a chance to grow up with in Jokic. I'm seeing a star develop in Jamal Murray. But boy, like you've been saying it all postseason, Savage. Who the hell is guarding AD? Like he's doing his thing. So I'm gonna get a 40 you, the Lakers fan of the day. Go ahead and
first and foremost, I want to. I don't hate Denver. I love Denver. Denver is like they coming like next year. Like they this is good for Denver to get the experience. Not even just getting the experience, but playing LeBron, playing AD against a storied franchise that has been here at least 17 times or 16 times at least. And Jamal Murray, like, I think he got takeover for the entire game. Like this man does not miss shots. Right hand, left foot, right foot. Like nobody. I should be asking who guarding Jamal Murray because
if they would have won, I would have tweeted you that for sure.
And that's the difference. LeBron, LeBron, he, as Shannon Sharp would say, he sat in that chair and Murray was not scoring like that for the rest of the fourth quarter. But Jamal Murray is just I'm trying to figure out where do I place him in terms of point guard hierarchy at the end of this. But I won't get into that now because I mean people are debating is the bubble like reality, like with it like being like a crowd and things like that. So I won't get into that, but I'll get into what's on the court. I think one, of course, who guarding AD. I mean, he's averaging like 33 a game right now. Not averaging as many rebounds, but I think now looking back, I think it's because of the nature of how dealing with Jokic. And like I said before, he's like putting weight on him. Jokic is heavy, putting weight on AD. And so AD is tired to the point where he wants to conserve his energy for offense, knowing that Rondo can get a rebound, LeBron can get a rebound, Dwight can get a rebound. So he's probably saving himself in that regard for the offensive end because nobody can guard him. But I think the difference right now as to why the Lakers are up 3-1, if y'all look at the point differential, it's 0. It's 325, 325. It's even right now. So the matchup is even. But I think the difference is that Jokic is not making as strong of an impact on the game as he did in previous series. He's not averaging as many assists. I think he had like 5 last game. He had 2 like in game 1.
Mm-hmm.
The ball's not moving as much with him because he is the starting point of the offense. Like you've seen him on fast breaks, coming ball down the court. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Lakers, we don't give Frank Vogel enough credit because he is a defensive guru. Like that's his bread and butter is defense. And so adjusting, to the matchup, because I said before, styles make fights. And so starting Dwight Howard last game has allowed the Lakers to shift the defensive focus and allow, like I said, AD to be AD on offense. I picked Lakers in 5. I'm sticking with it tonight. I think they wrap it up tonight, especially seeing how Miami and Boston is now going a little bit further. So LeBron wants to get, AD some more rest to ice that ankle up. I'm not sure if AD plays tonight, honestly. If I were him, if I were the coach, I probably would not play him. And I would say, LeBron, go get us this win. That's what I would say. But that's dangerous. I'm aware of that, especially with Denver, who came back from 3-1 twice. They are very capable of coming back 3-1 again. I mean, I'm going to give them respect where respect is due. So I think the Lakers win tonight, but it's not going to be easy, especially if AD not playing.
I was just about to say, if AD don't play, what do y'all think? Y'all think the Lakers win, Nuggets win?
I still think they win. I think they
don't. Trevor, what do you think?
Well, for me, I said this on starting 5. I'm actually picking the Nuggets to win tonight. Because like the Lakers did, I think prior to game 3 or 4, of course, they came with the free throw disparity. They came out and said about LeBron James, not getting enough free throws and he's getting hacked a lot. Denver has since done the exact same thing. And I think in terms of drawing up the quote unquote drama, I think Denver wins tonight. Denver shoots more free throws. They win tonight. Draw up that drama as to, here goes Denver, possibly finna come back from 3-1 once again. And then LA wraps it up in game 6 because I think LeBron has one of those like big time LeBron games to where he may have a triple double. He may have like 25, 12, and 13 or something like that in game 6. So I have the Nuggets winning tonight, and I think it's because of the complaint or whatever. Just to get everybody riled up, thinking that they can actually do this, and then they wrapped it up in game 6.
Sheedy, what you think?
First of all, I'm not a fan of Frank Vogel Savage. I want to put that out there. Not at all. And moving on to the point about the game this evening, I believe the Nuggets do win this game. They win game 5. They love to be down 3-1. They love it. Now, unfortunately, they're facing someone that's definitely going to close them out, which is LeBron. But if you look at LeBron's kind of track history, LeBron, when it's time for him to take over and really be that insane LeBron that we're used to, it actually doesn't really happen until game 6, whether we're down 3-2 or we're up 3-2. That's when he turns on against the Celtics. That's when he turns on against the Magic. You know what I mean? Those games like that. And so I look forward to him being dominant for game 6. I think the Denver Nuggets do win game 5. I think they're out-coached because, as I said on starting 5, there are 3 coaches for the Lakers. One is LeBron. The other is Rajon Rondo. The other is Jason Kidd. And then Frank Vogel is a distant and not part of the coaching staff. He's just a voice at times, and who just says Kobe. And so with that being said, I just think that I love what the Denver Nuggets are doing. I love what Mike Malone is doing. This is a process. To think that a 7-foot person can run point guard for you is amazing. I just don't think he's had enough time with it for it to come to fruition right now. And the other point I want to make before I turn over to Sharky is like, let's also not talk about, and I'm not saying we do this, but let's not talk about if there's like an asterisk next to this finals, whoever wins the finals.
Oh, no.
I don't believe that's fair at all. I believe this is the most mano we've ever had in our entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
There is no crowd to help you. There's no home field, home court advantage, so to speak, with the refs. This is straight down the line. Who's going to win on any given day? And you have 7 chances to prove that you're better than them. And so I don't want any asterisks, but again, I think the Nuggets win tonight, whether or not AD comes or goes. But LeBron turns on LeBron on Game 6 for Jason Kidd and wins it.
Yeah. Speaking of asterisks, I mean, people go out. That's what people think. When it boils down to it, ain't no asterisk going in the record book.
Yeah.
A lot of people say it's asterisk got behind Golden State's first title because guess who? Kyrie and Kevin Love were hurt. People say it's asterisk behind LeBron's 3-1 comeback because Draymond got suspended. A lot of people say it's asterisk between Toronto's title last year because Golden State was hurt. Man, when it boils down to it, you play what's in front of you.
Yep.
And let's go. So I ain't trying to hear that. I think Matt Kellerman tried to swing the Heat series, talking about Gordon Hayward missed game 1. If he don't miss the first 2 games, they probably lead the series way over. Like he was hurt. Who cares?
Part of the game, blood.
But I picked Lakers in 6, so and especially AD don't play. I do feel like the Nuggets, I refuse to see them lose. Believe that they're just gonna lose tonight in 5. Even if he does play, they just seem like that type of team. They gonna get to 6. And I think the Lakers will close them out 6. I picked the Lakers 6. So the Nuggets, like I said, it's been a great series back and forth. Last 2 games, Jokic hasn't scored in the 4th quarter, and that's been the biggest difference maker. Like I said, Anthony Davis shot in game 2. This could have very well been 2-2 right now as well. So it's a real back and forth series. So that's why I believe they would get the 4th version back and forth tonight to get it to 3-2. But then LeBron, game 6, say, all right, I'm gonna take y'all out and get to the finals.
Yep.
As far as the asterisk thing goes, like that, like even for me that criticizes LeBron on the court, if LeBron wins, there is no asterisk for me. Like, if anything, it'll help his legacy because this is pure basketball being played. Outside the booty referees.
Yeah, they are booty.
They've
pure
been
basketball.
Both ways.
Game 3 was terrible for both sides. I was like, man, let them play. Every 2 minutes is a foul. Like, come on.
So, salute to y'all in y'all comments. Hopefully the Nuggets win. If not, it is what it is. We'll be seeing the Lakers finally get to the finals in 10 years. So let's get on to some football talk, Trevor.
All righty. So first and foremost, in more bad news, the University of Memphis Tigers just recently had to cancel yet another game due to the ramifications going on with COVID-19 involving with the Tigers. So I will call on Took and Savage for these points I'm about to make about the Tigers. Sharky and Sheedy, y'all can chime in whenever y'all feel like it. So assuming everything is, hopefully once everything gets back up and running for the Tigers, they do have a game upcoming this Saturday against SMU, and I believe that's at SMU if I'm not mistaken. And this will be the first time that Memphis has played anything football related, that's practice or a game, within a full month. So Savage, my question to you is, if the Tigers are allowed to get back to playing football, how do you suppose that Memphis is going to maintain the momentum that they set in motion with their win over Arkansas State, given that there hasn't been any football-related activities in Oklahoma?
My hope is that they've been in the film room, whether it's in Zoom or whatever, because obviously they haven't been on the practice field, I don't think. I picked the Tigers to go undefeated this year. I still think they will not lose a game this year. Unfortunately, I don't think it will matter because there's no playoffs, or I don't know how bowl season's going to work. I have no idea, y'all. I don't even see how we're supposed to finish this season in general because there's so many moving parts in like conferences and division. It's just too much. So I still think that the Tigers will win this game. My prayer is that they've been taking the precautionary measures. We still haven't heard much from what happened with this quote unquote party bus. I have no idea what the heck happened with that. So yeah, I think they'll come ready to play. I think it'll be a rough game. Like they won't be scoring like 50 points. I think it'll be closer because they haven't been, think about football. Football's about rhythm. Like once you get into a rhythm, like week by week, that tends to bode well for your team. But having a month off is a long time. Like I'm not even gonna lie, that's gonna be rough. So I am kind of nervous about them going undefeated. But I still think that they'll be able to win next Saturday against SMU. That's a game that they'll get up for because SMU kind of gave them a little trouble last year too. So,
all right, Shark and Sheedy, y'all got anything to add or interject?
I saw Central Florida play last week. I picked us not to beat them. I'm still not picking us to beat them.
Was it Georgia Tech they played? Something like that?
Georgia Tech.
They gave me work.
Tech.
They gave me work, man.
Yeah. Until I see with my own two eyes, I'm not picking us BCUCF. But hopefully we have to play at SMU, and with almost a month off, has SMU? I haven't really paid attention to SMU to see if they. I think they played one time or twice.
I think maybe one game, yeah. So it'll kind of be even.
Well, something on the funny side, Houston had another game canceled against North Texas. So this 3 straight weeks in a row where the team they're supposed to play had like caught COVID or something and they couldn't play. So is Houston the problem?
Yes.
Houston, we have a problem.
Jeffrey right.
Oh man, I hate to follow that one up. But like I'll reserve my comments about Memphis football till someone returns to the show, so we can address a few things. But overall, I think this COVID-19 thing is really crazy. And taking a month off of football and contact sport like that, it's almost like getting them back into like almost like a bowl season, so to speak, where they've had so much time off and now they're preparing for one opponent. But we've seen what this does, and I know we'll talk about it later. Like the tackling is going to look a little sus. The timing's going to be off. Those things. Those really are crucial factors when you're talking about football. A little bit different as opposed to basketball, but I don't think this month helps at all. I think it hinders all rhythm. To Savage's point about college football or football in general, it hinders the rhythm for them to move forward. But I expect Memphis to still do well and win the American. I just don't know how many games they'll lose on their way to doing so.
All right, and to my alien brother, I want you to put your conspiracy hat on for this one, because all of us know how the national media and how the masses feel about the city of Memphis as a whole. As of right now, the Tigers are still ranked. In the AP poll, they're ranked 17, just below Tennessee. And in the coaches poll, if I can get this up here, they're ranked at 15, just above Tennessee. So do you feel that now, with everything that's going on with COVID-19 and everything that's been placed on Memphis' shoulders, which has caused them to pause their games due to COVID-19, do you think this is something that the national media exactly wants? Given that, is it another way of the national media trying to put down Memphis? Is what I'm trying to say.
I would say not. I'd say yeah. For one, the aspect of Savage, you brought it up. Where's any video proof that such a party buzz happened? If I'm in again, let's take all of our college days again. You know what I'm saying? Whether we playing sports or not. If we're at a party bus, there are girls around, there's football players around, we all on social media acting a fool unless a non-disclosure agreement was signed by somebody. Where is the footage? Other than that, I'm blaming number two, that bad leadership, because if there's no footage, there's no reason that the Memphis football program should not have been playing, you know what I'm saying, for the last month or so. Like they could have been practicing, they could have been doing so much other things and preparing. They could have been playing them, you know what I'm saying? But there is no video. So the media is portraying Memphis to look as a bad city, but we're gonna win against We're gonna win against SMU, which will probably put our ranking up, and then we got to go against UCF, and you know what I'm saying, whoever wins that could eventually possibly crack a top 10. Which I'm pretty sure by then the media would rather see UCF in the top 10 again rather than Memphis, who, you know what I'm saying, for one could be in the top 10 in football for the first time, but we can't even crack the top 25 in basketball. But that's neither here nor there.
Don't get me started with that.
Top
We're
30.
not going to get started on college basketball. That's a whole
Don't get me started. That's why I'm saying we're gonna keep it football.
Top 36.
I don't think there's a conspiracy at this point. It's just proven facts that you know the small market Memphis team that everybody loves, everybody hates.
And with me, I just felt that, okay, this is after a win at home against Arkansas State. Like, you've been in the city for a good little while now. So my question is, why are you taking the party bus to go around the city? That's just, and you've been in Memphis already. So that's my thing. And of course, to your point, if this party bus did take place, somebody on somebody's social media took footage of it, and there's no footage that surfaced. So
like I didn't see any tweets, you know what I'm saying? And you saw that in Mississippi too. So it's like they want us to get in trouble out there. They want us to get in trouble, and we giving y'all this. We wait on just a simple footage. Show 30-second video of them turning up in the
somebody got something. If that's the case, somebody got
something. Yeah, and
maybe nobody got nothing.
And something
to
came
correct
out.
myself, Memphis is currently ranked 20th in the coaches.
So they dropped it.
They dropped 5 spots.
Well, other teams are starting to play. Other
other teams started playing. So,
it's
Pac-10, Big Ten, we haven't even counted those.
Yeah,
yet.
so
I'm sorry.
it's a whole nother month to 10 in.
Yeah. Shark and Sheedy, y'all have anything to add as far as Memphis being put down once again by the national media because of what's going on?
Used to it by now. But at this point, the rankings, I don't think there's anything. I mean, like I said, when you're not playing, you can't keep yourself ranked at the same spot when other teams are playing. Memphis is not the only team that's not playing, that's dropping. So, but that's a part of this thing. I mean, like I said, I know somebody got footage, and even somebody got footage they ain't posting it. Even then, someone would have got out by now. The cloud, somebody would have got it from the cloud by now.
What I'm saying, man.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I think the only knock here, you can't be knocking them Memphis and how they're ranked right now, because again, one game and who they play, right? With the other conferences that are still out. And so, but it feels terrible because it's Memphis, and like we get it on all angles, whether it's the Grizzlies, whether it's the basketball Tigers, whether it's the football Tigers. It's always a downplay to Memphis, unfortunately. And so I think that's the one thing that drives this city as well in regards to sports, and the reason why fans back Memphis sports so much, because of the underdog mentality that exists here on Shelby Drive.
All right. Well, if nothing else on the Tigers, let's move it on, keeping it in the South, to the Southeastern Conference, which started their football season on today. Got games going on now as we speak. I did send a text to each of you all as far as the storylines of what's to come during the SEC this year. I believe I covered both the East and the West. So I will start with where the national champion reside, the LSU Tigers, in the SEC West. Of course, they've lost plenty of weapons to the NFL draft, and a couple seniors are left, including Joe Burrow and a couple others to be named. But they're not the ones that this year they're picked to reach back to the college football playoff. The team that's being projected is the team that's ranked second in the nation, and that's the Alabama Crimson Tide. Of course, last season was the first season that Alabama was not in the college football playoff since its inception in 2014. So my question to you, Brother Sheedy, is, do you feel that now that Alabama is kind of back in full force and they're ranked second in the country, do you feel that they can get back to their dominating ways and reach the college football playoff once again?
Oh, absolutely. I don't even know how many words I can really say besides absolutely. I think this team was a few possessions away, an injury away from really being in the football playoffs. I mean, they still gave that work to the Wolverines. in the playoff game.
Yeah, they did.
I would have rather have seen LSU versus Alabama again because Oklahoma didn't show up. But that's neither here nor there. Alabama is always seen as that team that's so good that they can actually play in the NFL, right? We say like, man, this team could beat the Bengals, right? Unfortunately, the Bengals suck. And so I think they do return to their ways. I think why we're not talking enough about LSU, and I know we'll probably get on that in a moment, but they had like 18 or 19 kids get COVID. So again, back to that thing about being in rhythm, right? If now you can't be on the field, if now you're not catching the balls, if you're not getting the handoff, you're not doing the blocks the same way as everyone else, it's going to cause confusion. And they don't have, in college football, you must win every game, every week. You cannot take a week off. And so with that, I believe Alabama will return and represent the SEC as it should and return to its dominant form. I've seen Nick Saban, like literally in person and like, that stadium, and they mean business every single week, every Saturday. So I'm not going to say roll tide because that's not what I do, but Alabama.
That's good. That's good. Thank you, Brother Sheedy, for that. We're going to stay out west, and I'm going to shift it over to my alien brother. 6 of the top 10 in the AP poll all reside in the SEC. And, of course, with Alabama ranked 2nd, LSU ranked 6th, Georgia and Florida ranked 4 and 5, respectively. And then rounding out the top 10, we have Auburn and Texas A&M. So my question to you, Took, is Auburn and Texas A&M is getting a lot of hype with their top 10 rankings, and of course, a lot of it has to do with their defense. So, do you feel that Auburn and or Texas A&M could possibly challenge Alabama and LSU for the SEC West?
I would say no for Texas A&M. Simply because they lost 2 of their bigger playmakers on offense and defense. When you look at the wide receiver, what's his name, Jamon Osborne, who led their squad last season in receptions, he decided not to play this season, and also their star linebacker Anthony Rhymes. I'm sorry, who was 2nd in tackles last year, and the tackles for loss. Like those are 2 big keys that you have missing, and of course his next guy up. But when you're talking about COVID and chemistry and on-field issues, and on-field chemistry, those 2 guys going out for Texas A&M are kind of hurt. And right now they're going against Vandy right now later on tonight at 6:30. Y'all can check that out for sure. Hopefully that's a good win for Texas A&M, but we'll see how COVID treat them. Like I said, it's the first game for both teams, and it's a time where anything can happen. So yeah.
All right. Anybody got anything to interject before I shift it over to the East? Okay. Let me get a drink of water real quick because I got to talk about the University of Florida. So,
Is that
bad? All right. So, to Savage, since on the SEC East side, since Dan Mullen has taken over as the head football coach of the University of Florida Gators, they have finished in the top 10 of each of those 2 seasons, going 10-3 and 11-2 respectively. However, they failed to reach the SEC championship both years, losing to Georgia in the critical game, which would have decided whether or not Florida gets to that game or not. So my question to you is, going into this season, does Florida finally break through the mold and get to the SEC championship representing the East, or will it be more of the same for Georgia?
To put it simply, no. Because look, Florida ain't been right since Tebow left. Florida, they always come into the season with high expectations. For what it's worth, Florida is a decent team. Like they're putting in work on Ole Miss right now, 41-21, and their quarterback got like 5 touchdowns, receiver got 3 touchdowns. They going ham, but that's Ole Miss. Like Ole Miss, they won't be ready until 2024. Once Lane Kiffin gets a full recruiting class. But Georgia, Georgia been running the East for a minute. Like it ain't, I don't see anything changing. Georgia produces some NFL talent as well. And I'm kind of like Sharky with Memphis and UCF. I got to see it first. I got to see Florida win the actual SEC East before I say, yeah, you guys can win. And even if they win the SEC East, Alabama on the other side. Right. If Georgia ain't giving Alabama problems, I don't expect Florida to get Alabama problem. So, nah, sorry, Florida fans, it ain't happening this year. Maybe I gotta see it. I can't even say maybe. I gotta see it first before I even agree with that statement.
All right. And we're going to round it out in Big Orange Country. The Volunteers, of course, started last season 2-5, won 6 straight to close the season, including the bowl game over Indiana. We are in year 3 in the Jeremy Pruitt era, and he recently just got an extension to where now he's making over $4 million a year and an extra $400,000 yearly on top of that. So my question to Sharky is, with everything that transpired with this 6, can Tennessee ride this momentum that they had going into the end of last season after winning 6 straight? So, is Tennessee for real? Is basically what I'm asking.
I have no idea. It's one of those sports that, because recruiting, seniors leaving, all the type of stuff. Year to year, it changes. And although we had the number 1 or number 2 recruiting class this year, they're all freshmen, so it might just be a year early. And also look at the schedule. They gave us a gun that was scheduled, by the way. Play at South Carolina today. I don't know what to expect. We should win, but I don't know how South Carolina
new
looks.
Quarterback, new OC. It should be a win, but who knows? Strange things with Tennessee.
I didn't like Jarrett Garantano last year, and he just won the QB job again. Although he got better. I probably felt better if we had another quarterback. I would never just start right there because he did get better, but I don't think he got better enough for me to trust him in the 10-game SEC schedule where we had to play at Georgia, Kentucky, Alabama 3 weeks in a row. By the way, skip a week when we play Arkansas. That should be a win. Play Texas A&M at Auburn. Skip a week against Vanderbilt. Then play Florida. So right there, I just counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 losses right there in the 8-week plan. Maybe we may upset Texas A&M at home, maybe upset Auburn, maybe because Kentucky giving them trouble right now. Yeah, I don't know. Anywhere from 4 to 7 wins, just about what I expect. And like I said, we got number 1, number 2 recruiting class, so it's a more of a growth year. Like, yeah, last year we started 2-5, finished the year off well. This year is kind of still like we're not quite ready to challenge Georgia and Florida for the division, but we're not ready to challenge them as in winning it, but we're probably ready to challenge as in actually battling and keeping the game close. Kind of like, and I want to go back to the year Bush Jones, sorry as he was. Remember the year he was supposed to finally go to the SC Championship game, and we had those wild games. The year before that, we were competing, and we had blew a 14-0 lead to Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma. We had blew a 13.4 quarter lead against Florida that year. Then we came back and beat Georgia. I expect this year to be similar to that, where we're not quite ready to win, but we'll compete in those type of games.
Okay, I can see more of the same as that for the Vols. I definitely could see another 4 to 7 win season, but it's on the bright spot. At least we are having a coach for more than 3 seasons now. So I will. But this is I wouldn't say it's a make or break year, but this is really. I'm definitely looking forward to see the next possible step that Jeremy Pruitt takes with his guys. Like, he's shown that he can recruit. We've had the top recruiting class since he's gotten there, at least in the top 15, top 20. But it'll be interesting to see what they do as far as taking that next step. Any interjections or statements on the SEC, or anybody got anything extra to add on the SEC?
Georgia is having quarterback problems right now. The starter that transferred from USC, JT Daniels, he's hurt and he's not cleared at the moment. So be on the lookout on that. I do believe Florida has the opportunity to take the division this year, but because of that situation, and Florida actually has a quarterback. Felipe Frank transferred to Arkansas, and that's fitting because he's sorry and he transferred to a sorry school, so that's very fitting. They actually have a quarterback this year, so I actually think Florida might take it this year.
All right. Quick bonus question while we're on the topic of college football, and it's just a quick hitter. Is either make the either choice. So of course, as she just pointed out in the pregame, Deion Sanders has just been named as the coach of Jackson State University. At this point, Mississippi just got a huge injection as far as football in the state. For those who don't know, earlier, Lane Kiffin was hired as the new coach at Ole Miss, and former Washington State coach Mike Leach was just brought in as the coach at Mississippi State. So real quickly, before we move on, who has the bigger impact in the state of Mississippi? Mike Leach, Lane Kiffin, or Deion Sanders?
What kind of question is this?
Is he on the field or
On the field.
On the field.
On the
Question?
field.
That's
On the field.
I'll go ahead and go, and I will say this in the most PG-13 simple mind, and not the simple flow. It's Deion primetime. Come on, bro. When you think about the state of Mississippi, and they got one of the most revered superstars in the game of football, arguably the biggest name in football, primetime, coming at coach at a Mississippi school. It's about the same way I felt about Penny Hardaway coming to the Tigers and bringing that coach to the Memphis sports or back to Memphis sports. It's the same way I feel about Deion. And the reason is when you have arguably two of the better, college football programs in the nation in Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Now those black players will be listening to at least listening to a conversation from JSU. And the fact that it is a HBCU at a time where Black lives hopefully, I guess, matter. Like that's an injection of steroids in Mississippi as far as the black dollar goes. I see this being a success. I see Deion being there for a minute unless he decides not to coach or to take his talents to the NFL. But a lot of coaches will be listening to what Deion has to say.
I'm gonna say this. At first, I was gonna say Lane Kiffin because Lane Kiffin, offensively is a genius. Like his offense is always on point. But I'm gonna agree with Toot because I feel like not only would Deion get an influx of players because we've seen players come from HBCU and go into the NFL. We got Hall of Famers that went to Mississippi Valley State, Savannah State, and other HBCUs that have played well. So it has been done before. So history can repeat itself. But I just know one thing: we better get Jackson State versus Ole Miss, Mississippi State at some point. It could be at the beginning of the season, one of those gimme games. And low key, I feel like if Deion will stay for a little while, I feel like Jackson State could scare some people in about 3-4 years in terms of like not necessarily winning, but making it competitive. You know what I'm saying? Now it remains to be seen on like a collegiate level if Deion can like become like a cornerback / weapon factory for Jackson State, but something will come from this for Jackson State. They are going to want to put them on TV in some capacity. That's why I said you got to put Jackson State versus Ole Miss because we're gonna watch that because it's Deion Sanders, not because of Lane Kiffin, because Deion Sanders.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna agree with Took as far as the impact because people are going to focus more on Jackson State than ever before compared to Lane Kiffin going to Ole Miss or Mike Leach going to Mississippi State. So I agree it's going to be Deion Sanders.
As for me, I think on the field and only because of the Power 5 dynamic, how it's structured, just to be real, he is going to have the biggest impact overall with recruiting and everything. But I think just on the field product, who has a chance to actually win and go to the college football playoff and all that, I say Mike Leach. And because at Texas Tech and Washington State, what recruits were he getting? And he still had a dynamic offense killing. And now at Mississippi State, Deion Sanders gonna get some recruits. He gonna like I said, scare some people. He's still gonna like Mike Leach is gonna be the best recruits he's ever gotten. And he's never gotten these type of recruits. So I feel like Mike Leach with actual real recruits, he's gonna do some things in Mississippi State that we haven't seen before at Mississippi State.
I know it's supposed to be quick, so I'll bank mine's quick. I agree with you. I would choose Leach to have the greatest impact year one. For the three coaches named, I think Deion is the supreme choice overall, however, for what he's going to be able to do for JSU. The only concern I have about Deion recruiting just JSU is just make sure you have an offensive line. Because I think he's going to be great with getting corners, receivers, all the position players, but getting a sturdy offensive line and defensive line is going to be his thing. But the clear winner of all this, though, to be honest, guys, the clear winner about this is none other than Uncle Clifford. Because Chuckalisa City is going to be open a whole bunch now with all these coaches. So
I hear
here's the win.
I haven't even watched P Valley yet, but I'm aware of Uncle Clifford.
I have. I'm with you, Sam. Just on impact of all, I'm actually going to agree with Sharky. I really think Mike Leach, once he's able to get some recruits that he's haven't been able to get, I think he's really going to have a big thing. And we can see something similar at Mississippi State to what Dan Mullen did, possibly with Dak Prescott. And I'm just saying, just on the field standpoint, I think Mike Leach has their best opportunity. Don't get me wrong, I'm cheering for Dion 100%, and I think he's going to do well at Jackson State. And I'm with Savage. I hope he stays a little while to try to get, establish something, establish a foreground, possibly become a factory for corners or, like you said, impact players or whatever. But just on the field, as far as year one, who's going to have the biggest impact, I'm going to take Mike Leach.
Definitely. That's respectable.
All right. So now we're going to kick it to the NFL and Savage.
All right, people. So with the NFL, there was essentially minimal training camp, minimal like rookie camp, actually no rookie camp at all. So they didn't have as much time to, prepare for the NFL season, get their bodies prepared to, have contact, to tackle, to catch, to carry the ball, things like that. And the NFL canceled the preseason, which a lot of people enjoyed, not having the preseason, me being one of them. At least, advocating for shortening the preseason. And so the result naturally is a ton of injuries. Some of your favorite players are out for the season with a lot of ACL tears, Achilles, soft tissue injuries. So I'm going to just list a few players. And then I'm going to start with Took, since one of his favorite players, if not his favorite player, is, his season is almost in danger. I know he's out for a couple of weeks. So you got Nick Bosa, who's out for the season, ACL tear. That's unfortunate. I believe there are other players out for the season too, right?
Solomon Thomas.
Solomon Thomas out for the season. Saquon Barkley again with another knee issue out for the season. I'm kind of concerned about Saquon Barkley, to be honest. Christian McCaffrey, he's out for a couple of weeks. Drew Lock is out. Cortland Sutton is out for the season. Jimmy Garoppolo, injury. Devontae Adams. Malik Hooker, Byron Jones, former Cowboy. Raheem Mostert. The 49ers has had a lot of damage to their team. And Anthony Barr for the Minnesota Vikings. That's a few notable names. But I just want to go around to you guys, starting with Took, then Sheedy, then Sharky and Trevor. How do you feel about these NFL injuries, and how do you feel the injuries would impact your actual team if your team has been impacted by injury? So Took, start us off.
Well, for sure, my team was definitely impacted, but I'd say it's a minimum to the impact for the simple fact of Christian McCaffrey. He'll be out 4 to 6 weeks, of course. So one of my fantasy teams will be down, of course, but probably millions of people's, for the next 4 to 6 weeks. But I also look at it as like this: when you don't have a preseason, when you don't have rookie camp, when you barely have training camp, these things are to follow. So to go ahead and get our star player out of there, I hope that he can sit at least half the season. I hope if it's 4 to 6 weeks, hell, keep him on the field, keep him out the field for 8. He's really not needed this season, because I'm going to use that word that she don't like me to use. And we are rebuilding. We are rebuilding for the future. And Christian McCaffrey is a big part, if not all of our part, for the future. So in that aspect, once I read that he went down, I'm like, dang it. But then I'm kind of like, okay, like he's off the field. We got a better chance to do better in, in the drafting, which, we could possibly get Sunshine. Y'all know how I've been feeling about Sunshine and how I love to see him in a Carolina Panthers uniform, but that's neither here nor there. But you do have to look at all these injuries with because it's only been week 2. With, players, they're still getting adjusted, but all the force is coming to them. They really didn't have enough time. So that's how I feel about that. I think that we're just getting started as far as the injury bug is going. The injury bug is going to eat a lot this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm at.
Sheedy?
Yeah, and unfortunately, the injury bug has tapped into Dallas more than I needed it to. Some things that some players you didn't mention, like Collins, are all NFL, all Pro Bowl left tackle. And I believe the greatest point of our defense is Leighton Vander Esch down again. With similar energies, not the same exact one, but injuries overall for the NFL are not good. Because I watch the Carolina Panthers to see C-Mac, right? That's why I turned it on for, not for other players. So it's not good for the NFL. It's good for those players that are behind them, right, to step up and show. But I think we definitely need at least 2 games, preseason, and then going on from there. But the injury bug has definitely found its way, not only just to Dallas, but to NFL, and it sucks. But again, it also gives other players the opportunity to step up and say, hey, listen, I might be a backup, but I can be somewhere else. Such as a Teddy Bridgewater, who is now benefiting from a season where he was, 5 games in as a starter. So hopefully there's more good than bad. But right now, all the ACL, like I've never seen that many ACL injuries in my life. In a week? Oh my God, no. But yeah, that's where I stand with that one.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think not having training camp, did have training camp, but not having preseason games affected a little bit. But most of the players would not play in preseason, probably play just 1 quarter of the whole preseason. So I think just the mini camps, the summertime, the players, they let you know players wasn't working out when they was probably supposed to. That's what it was probably showing, in my opinion. But as my team, man, we've been affected, but we ain't been affected to the point where players are out for the season. Or Dory Jackson, our best corner, hasn't played. I don't know if he's playing until like week 5, if we don't know when. AJ Brown, our top wide receiver, is about to miss this second game with a knee bruise. Don't know when he will be back. So it's affecting us in a way, but it's not to the point where players are out for the season. I did want to speak on Tyrod Taylor, though.
I didn't mention him for a reason because that wasn't like a football-related injury.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sharky.
Let me speak on this doctor, the Chargers doctor.
Oh, man. Okay.
Puncturing lungs, man. Why he ain't fired yet? This one. That's the first question. 2. Why? How?
Yeah.
Can't he sue?
I'm saying they're going through a process now to be an investigation for that.
Tyrod technically
that's mysterious,
but they're going through a process now to see what he can do.
Tyrod better be the owner of the Chargers when it's all said and done. He lost our job. I don't think Justin Herbert is gonna be like a star. He played well the first game, but I can tell you this: the Chiefs weren't prepared to play against him. So
right. And at this point, he as a rookie, he's already played 1 game. You might as well go ahead and let him play. Like at this point, he's already played. He played the best team in the NFL. Why bench him now? So
he knew he was going to eventually lose starting job to the rookie, but it's just the fact that he lost it on it right before the game too. Like this lyric is like Justin Herbert didn't know he was playing until they got out in the field about to do corn toss. So I need to see some more. I need to see Tyrod Taylor on the Chargers when this is all said and done at the end of this.
Trevor?
Well, for me, with the injuries that's been transpired, I'm with you guys. It's just mind-boggling, especially with all the lower leg injuries, the knees, ACLs, things of that nature. That's just been crazy. But like you guys said, with the lack of a training camp, the lack of a preseason, just to kind of get a rhythm and establish plan once again, of course, that's bound to happen. The injuries, fortunate enough, and I pray and knock on wood that it doesn't happen. It haven't affected the Steelers that much. I know recently Juju did have a knee issue, but he's going to be good to go on Sunday. We're also getting David DeCastro back, who hasn't played yet, our center. Bud Dupree has missed some time with a shoulder issue, but he's going to be suiting up Sunday as well. So at least for this week, for week 3, we're not going to have anyone on the injury report. Do I expect that to continue? Probably not. But yeah, again, just these injuries, man. And I really believe this is only the beginning. So.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up here. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm used to the injury report having like 12 people on it. Like looking at our injury report now. Well, actually, last week the week before last week, we were without 4 of our 5 starting linemen, offensive linemen. You know what I'm saying? Which is why Wentz had like 8 sacks against Washington. So I'm used to it. I mean, it's like welcome to Philadelphia Eagles fandom. Everybody else, like where the injury report is the entire team. But yeah, it's all bad. I think it's just the nature of football right now, where the injuries that would have came in like mini camp and training camp are starting to come now, and so you probably won't get full real football until like week 9, week 10, where everybody's like, okay, we're good. This is the team that we're gonna roll with, and then kind of go from there. So yeah, hopefully things get better for everybody. It won't get better for the Eagles, so I won't say that, but. I think we're ready to go into your board section.
Hold on, before we move on, 2 things. 1, my favorite player is Cam Newton. 2, I have to ask you, Mr. Savage, which one hurts more, your love for Carson Wentz or the truth? You're waiting.
Why you put me on the spot, man?
I was just going to say,
so I'm gonna let you go away with that.
Listen to this podcast. I don't know sports.
Yeah. Listen to the podcast. My response. I want to see Jalen Hurts play because I feel like he's built for this. I'm not praying for injury from Carson Wentz, but I am expecting injury from Carson Wentz. So take that for what you will.
Or the fact that Carson Wentz ain't quote unquote built for this. We're moving on along.
Hey.
Listen, I don't know. He wouldn't do it.
I don't know sports spot.
Exactly. Like,
well, before we move on, salute to Cam. Scal ain't out here. So we're always down to Cam. But last week, he did against the Seahawks.
Ooh, yes, he did, man.
Took it to the outside. That was the game-winning touchdown. If he just cut to the left, that whole left side.
That's neither here or there. They still learning each other, bro. That's neither
they are. Ooh, yeah.
He got him and Edelman is going to be nice.
Man.
Now.
Shout out to Cam. But speaking on Scouter, condolences to him. But we will be possibly beefing for the next about 2 weeks. Yeah. Because the Titans and Steelers play next Sunday. So me and Trevor will be beefing for a week. And the Heat and Lakers might be possibly playing.
It's funny. It's gonna be funny with me and Sharky because the Vols win. We're gonna celebrate. We're just gonna shake it. It's like, all right, bro. I'll see you on Monday.
Right. Sorry, we're gonna have a lot of beats with our teams playing against each other in all sports in the upcoming week.
In Pittsburgh coming up soon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think y'all the following week after Tennessee.
Yeah, in Dallas and Pittsburgh.
November
8th. Good time for the Let's Be Real podcast.
Man, I will say this before we move on. By the time we play the Cowboys, Andy Dalton will probably be their starter.
Oh, don't do it to him.
I don't got enough time today.
You ain't got Charlie out
because I know what's going on. I don't have enough time today, Trevor. I'll Steelers next time.
All right.
All right, man. You're bored. I got one to start out. I don't know if one of y'all have one, but I'll kick it off. All right. We didn't mention anything. We talked about this on Start at 5 because it's a Grizzly podcast. But guess what we're about to do? Let's be real. We actually put this way out your board segment. Mr. Joe Colley. He's obviously bored. So he was the one voter who didn't vote for John Morant to get unanimous Rookie of the Year was revealed to be Joe Colley. He's a Chicago writer for the Bulls as well. His tweets to explain his decision. Ja is a transcendent player. No arguing it. But the Rookie of the Year should go to the most impactful. Ja was most impactful. But anyway, the NBA built the TV schedule around Zion and expanded a bubble for Zion. His 24 games were must-see TV. I'd take that 24 and change PER and stand on that side of history. How bored is he? Just not a question if he bored. It's what's the game off of Wild and Out? How fly is he? My God,
how bored is he?
This is the other one.
That's it. Let's do it, y'all. How bored is he?
That's the new name. How bored is he? Like Wild and Out. That's gonna be the new name.
And I started off. He's so bored that he tried to make Zion into an MVP candidate based off this tweet. That's how bored he is. When you talk about the transcendent and the impact, and the NBA made a bubble for Zion to get Rookie of the Year. Mind you, that in a job where your profession is to read and write, the NBA sent a memo saying that this is before the bubble even happened. So his pick was for Zion Williamson based off of his play before the bubble, mind you. That's how bored he is. He's that bored to where the bubble made the NBA made a bubble for Zion, not only for him to get Rookie of the Year, but to get Giannis's MVP trophy.
I have a question. So I'm a like when I talk to my students, when I know that they're BSing me, I feed them back to BS just to confirm whether or not they are BSing me, right? So, do y'all know who won Rookie of the Year in 2017?
Malcolm Brogdon.
Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
So why didn't Joel Embiid win Rookie of the Year, Mr. Joe Colley? Because Malcolm Brogdon is not more impactful than Joel Embiid. This man is bored. He bored as hell. That's how bored he is. Like, first of all, if you go back to about October, the Grizzlies were slated to finish second to last, if not last, in the Western Conference. The Western Conference. Ja helped in getting them to the 8th spot in the West. Again, I know there were injuries. Like, as my coaches say, we don't pick them, we play them. They played who was in front of them, and they got to the 8th seed. Zion Williamson, true enough, he played well when he played, but the best ability is availability, and Zion was not available. He wasn't even available in the bubble, Mr. Colley. What are you talking about? What? So he bored as hell. I'm done.
It must have not have been that much to write about in Chicago for him to make this vote. Like, you could have did a Zach LaVine post or something. Like, come on. I've said everything I needed to say on starting five, but let's be real, I'll say it. I just want to ask Mr. Cowley a question. Like, how many Grizzlies games did you actually watch? And if it's less than 5, which I'm pretty sure it is the case, then you don't need to be talking about anything. But this is also how bored he is. Did you guys also know, and I think I got this from Sharky, that he voted for Patrick Beverley as Defensive Player of the Year?
Got that.
Wow.
And my only reason I could come up with is like, well, Pat Bev is from Chicago, but yeah, come on, man.
And I protect our black queens, but I mean, I love Maria Taylor. She's great. She didn't put Anthony Davis on any of the all.
She bored too. Oh, don't get twisted. She bored too.
She forgot Anthony Davis.
How? Oh, I'm on her, dog. Like, I respect Maria Taylor. Maria Taylor, bro. How did you forget?
How you forget that?
Now, folks are saying like she shouldn't be.
Who did she vote for instead?
I don't know.
That is a good question. I would love to know who she voted for.
AD is literally, like, there's so many factors with AD. He literally plays for the Lakers, the number 1 market in the NBA. He was a candidate for MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. He was an all-star starter. How do you forget Anthony Davis? Maria Taylor, you fired, bro. I'm just playing.
No,
don't fire her. Just say that she's bored. Right.
Just say the reason it's a big deal because people were saying it, and it's like that's how it became a big as
right. I'm joking, but like, come on now.
Yeah,
I think I got the big though because somebody was saying about that, like, I shouldn't get fired there. You shouldn't, man. Cheaty, you got any?
Now, what I was about to ask, didn't Anthony Davis win the MVP? I mean, the All-Star game MVP, but it didn't even matter. He hit the 2 free throws at the end, and we don't forget that. But anyway, we can carry on. That this is another board.
y'all got anything?
I got one.
I got a your board.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So actually a friend of mine sent me this the other day. It was actually last week. To be exact, it's actually a quote of a tweet. So it was the original tweet from at Legend of Winning. He was talking about Anthony Davis. Basically, he was just running through his resume and his current stats in the playoffs at this moment. Basically, asked if he were to win the championship and win Finals MVP, what would a ring do for his legacy overall? So, Mr. Josh Toussaint at Josh Toussaint basically re-asked the same question and said that when Anthony Davis winning a championship would put him in the conversation with Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, and Dirk Nowitzki. Hold on, before we tear this man apart, here's his reasoning. AD's a much better scorer than all of them except Dirk, and he says it's debatable. He's a far better defender than Dirk, more versatile on defense than Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. And he said the only thing he's missing is the hardware and the nostalgia.
The only thing that he'd have me on is the versatility as far as defending go, because he's smaller and quicker. That's it. that is it. You comparing him to one, the best power forward in the game. For two, Kevin Garnett, who defensively may be arguably the most powerful power forward in the game. And nah, man,
Let's go back. I'm a basketball historian. Let's go back to early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Did people forget about Kevin Garnett with Minnesota?
Apparently so. Whoa. I'll let you finish. You finish Kevin Garnett because I'm gonna get to Tim Duncan.
Okay,
I'm
go
tired
ahead.
of slandering Tim Duncan right now. So, go ahead, Savage.
Oh, okay. So let me pull up Tim Duncan's Minnesota.
No, I thought you were doing. Yeah, you do KG. I got Tim Duncan.
Okay, I'm gonna look up Kevin Garnett because for one, Kevin Garnett won an MVP with the Timberwolves. He got his team to the Western Conference Finals. The only problem is that he ran to Shaq and Kobe. I mean, a lot of people ran to Shaq and Kobe, in the early 2000s. So I'm gonna go to Minnesota. So Minnesota, these are points per game, once he was in his prime. So I'm gonna give him to the turn of the century from 1999 to 2000. 23 points a game, 23, 22, 21, 23, 24, 22, 21, 22. And this is all before Boston. Rebounding, 10, 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, 13, 12, 13. Assists, 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 5. Like, this dude, like, come on. Like, come on.
How many blocks?
Blocks, let me get into the blocks. 2, 1, 1.5, 2, 1.5, 1.6, 2. Like, stop it. Stop. No. I love AD, but I grew up watching KG because I was a tall, skinny, dark-skinned dude. Like, that was my guy. But we're not going to slander Mr. Kevin Garnett. I know people hate Kevin Garnett because he won a ring in Boston and they won't stop talking about it. But people forget. Go back and watch Kevin Garnett's highlights from Minnesota. If you are not old enough to understand Kevin Garnett, Garnett was the best player in the league at one point. AD is not the best player in the league, period. Like,
Giannis, you need to be watching KG.
Let's stop explaining. Go ahead, Trevor. Go ahead.
All right, so the main guy that gets probably the most slander on here, and I mean not on here, but just period, and that's Mr. Timothy Theodore Duncan, aka the Big Fundamental. And I get it because he's not as big as far as personality is concerned. He's accepting MVP trophies, wearing open-toe sandals. I get it, but this is just his career average now. He is 19-10, well actually 19-11 in his career as a Spur. And I'll just go to his playoff numbers because I'm not going to just even mess with the regular season. So in the playoffs, in his second championship with the Spurs, and that was in 2003, 25 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks a game. Probably, and that's probably how to regard as one of the best stat lines in probably NBA Finals history. Season before that, even though again, like Savage said, a lot of these KG and Tim Duncan didn't win all the championships they did win because they ran to Shaq and Kobe. But even that season, the season before, Duncan was 28, 14, 5 assists, 4 blocks a game. So
4. That's crazy.
4. And one thing that these other 3 guys have that AD doesn't have is league MVPs. So a lot of people forget that Dirk was league MVP. Debatable, but he still won MVP.
Yeah.
So keep Tim's name out your mouth unless you're talking about greatness, man. So.
And I'm not bringing up no stats, nothing. Don't you ever disrespect Dirk Nowitzki again, because I watched that man carry Mount Moriah's reserves to the finals, and they lost in 2006, but they won in 2011. AD has yet to do that.
Nope.
I got that. Apple. I mean, my whole thing. Because this is AD's first time really getting to somewhere. Let his career in.
Yes. Like, he can get there because, at some point, LeBron gonna retire in his AD's team. But right now, stop it. No.
That's my first thought. It's like, he's still like 26.
He's like 26. He's
27.
He got time.
Yeah, he's still in his prime.
He got time.
He just got to his prime.
Right.
He got time, man. Like, no, this is too early. And yeah, KG led those same New Orleans Pelicans teams who might have been better than KG's Minnesota teams.
Right.
Way
Wally Zerbiak and
much further.
Trail Spreewell. Stop it.
Yeah.
Two. What was yours?
All right, so what I'm gonna do is actually, if y'all don't mind, combine two topics, and that'll be, you're bored or how bored are you, and troll and all. So last night, Sharky, you end up putting a picture of my guy Kirko Cousins and his barbecue in the picture.
I'm about to show that.
So please,
Please do.
I do need the viewers to be able to see why I may or may not be changing his name from Kirko Cousins to regular Kirk or whatever his name is. I'm gonna find it. So I guess in the trolling all or whatever, I said that I will be changing his name if the Vikings, if the Titans beat the Vikings, I'll change his name. So trolling all, the Titans gonna beat the Vikings because look at this. Look at this. Where's the seasoning?
Bro, like I said,
put salt on it.
Like I said, I don't own a whiteboard, but I do own a grill. I can tell you the Titans will lose to a guy who grills this thing.
Is this your top 10 quarterback? Is this your top 10 quarterback?
I mean, off the field, I ain't got nothing to do with what you're doing.
Once again,
go ahead.
Once again, the only reason Kirk Cousins is in our top 10 is because of the New Orleans Saints. I rest my case.
So New Orleans Saints will lose to a quarterback like that.
Hey man, right, let's take it to President.
I am with you on this too. If he loses this Sunday to the Titans, I will no longer call him Kirk O'Baines. I will not call him that anymore. I will not call him Kirk Cuzzo. I will not call him Kirk O'Baines no more. He will just be Kirk Cousins.
And it's not looking good because the Vikings are 0-2. So like this will let y'all know how like I'm ready to go ahead and just. That barbecue was terrible. I don't even know.
I've said this on the top 10 that I don't know how he does it. At that point, he somehow found a way to win games. But again,
what is that?
He is there. He is there because of the New Orleans Saints. What
is he using on the grill?
Liver steaks, man.
Bruh, this man got an easy bake grill, bruh. What is this?
I don't see no kind of I
don't see no season. I don't see no.
Man, that's y'all top 10 quarterbacks. All I'm gonna say.
Again, blame the New Orleans Saints. That's all I got to say.
Well, yeah. What I was gonna say is, I mean, he is my top 10 quarterback. I will stand behind that because I know if Drew Brees was doing that, he'd be a little short. On the so.
I guess to wrap it up, all in all, the Titans gonna beat the Vikings, and next week I won't be calling them Kirko no more.
Yeah, we about to smack them boys.
Titans gonna kill them, dog. It's over
with. Smack them, bro.
We be getting team, man. Titans smack them.
You know, I'm thinking too, man. Our defense did not play well last week, and we still won. If you saw Mike Vrabel's press conference this week, bro was pissed. Bro was pissed. Bro was
plus look how Kirk struggled against the Colts last week. If you really think that he's about to
I see why Stephon Diggs won out, man.
And so I'm gonna do it. Apparently, I'm gonna do it one more time. Kirko, you're gonna have to get you a black girl or a black chef or something because that food that you had. I don't even know if you put salt and or pepper on it at least.
Probably just if that just
I was dabbing for a while.
I'm happy you brought that to my attention though. I needed to know who I was.
Yeah, me too, because I was like, come on now.
You gotta know who you're giving nicknames to, man.
Oh man,
Pimps mess up.
All right. That's another good episode. Hopefully next week.
America.
Hopefully next week we'll never have to hear Kirko ever again related to Kirk Cousins.
Reminisce on Kirk O'Baines, actual Kirk O'Baines, the artist.
And he will like that beat down. You like that? You will like that beat down. We'll put on tomorrow.
Hey man, also y'all feel if y'all can't be the 0-2 Kirk Cousins that's cooking like that, then he deserves the nickname.
Hey, I went as bad as our defense played last week. I actually want to be shocked if he actually have a good game.
Hell no. That's finna hold it there. Close it out, Shark. Let's get out of here.
All right, man. Like you said, man, got you out of No Sports Podcast dropping this week, and got the pods in Memphis next Wednesday. So yeah, I don't know Sports Monday and Friday. Correct. Oh, starting five. New starting five Monday as well. So
Hard Vibe be dropping Monday. Yeah.
we got y'all rolling, man. So till then, peace.
Stay black.